The following program is a SUTV student production. The views expressed are not necessarily those of Salisbury University, the University System of Maryland, its regents, administration, officers, employees, or representatives.
On tonight's broadcast, Lieutenant Governor Anthony Brown visited SU to address the Salisbury community and discuss his gubernatorial candidacy. In its second month of operation, the downtown trolley continues to connect the university with the surrounding community. City Council President Jake Day discusses its positive impact on local businesses. With Homecoming and Family Weekend quickly approaching, we'll highlight all the events scheduled throughout the week. And Carly Nichols will give us the weather outlook for this weekend's homecoming game. This is SUTV Evening News. Good evening and welcome to SUTV Evening News for Wednesday, October 15, 2014. I'm Taylor Rogers. We begin tonight's broadcast with our exclusive interview with Lieutenant Governor Anthony Brown, who came to the Comico Room yesterday to talk with students, faculty, staff, and other members of the community. The forum, which was sponsored by PACE, gave Brown the opportunity to answer questions submitted by students. The gubernatorial candidate sat down with SUTV's Eli Modlin to discuss his plans for Maryland and issues concerning students.
College has to be accessible, it has to be high quality, and it's got to be affordable. That's why I support a cap on college tuition. Maryland right now is leading the nation when it comes to college affordability. We used to be one of the most expensive states for public universities and colleges, and today we're one of the least expensive.
So say a student gets to college and they get that degree. How are you making sure that they have a good high-paying job here in the state, and what are you doing to help, or what would you do to try and help relieve some of that student loan debt?
Sure. So I think the best way to relieve student loan debt is to put college graduates to work. So not only in Maryland, but throughout this country, job number one for governors is to create jobs. Most of the jobs in America, and Maryland is no different, are private sector jobs. But there are things that we do in the public sector that create the conditions for private employers to invest in job-creating activities here in Maryland. It's investing in things like infrastructure, and often we think about roads and rail, but that also includes broadband and data network. When we bring more broadband and data networks, particularly into our rural communities, the eastern shore of Maryland, we're going to bring many, many more jobs, because we know that broadband and data networks are sort of the highway of the 21st century economy.
And you can place your votes for this year's election starting October 23rd, and the general voting is November 4th. So students, make sure that you are registered to vote. This week isn't just the beginning of homecoming. Students across campus have begun advising to prepare for the spring semester class planning. We spoke with several students about experiences and opinions on the academic advisement process.
Don't take it for granted. Don't think that you know everything about, what classes you're going to take. Talk to your advisor.
Next semester in the May, and I just think it's really helpful to have someone tell you that you're on the right track and to have someone to talk to.
Decide what I'm going to do with my life and the course of the rest of my 4 years here. So I think it's a very good process.
I've never heard anybody complain, but I feel like there's always that one bad advisor. But as far as that being at SU, I never heard anybody complain about their advisor yet.
Well, with me, since I was undecided for so long, it really helped me out with just keeping on track.
I think it's good if you get the right advisor and if you talk to the right people.
I'd say advising helped me out a lot. I switched my major 4 times in the last year, so I've had a lot of different advisors, and they've all been pretty helpful, making sure my classes all lined up.
And just as a reminder, make sure you plan to meet with your advisor or you will not be able to register for spring semester classes. The downtown trolley has been a source of transportation for those students traveling to other parts of the Salisbury community. SUTV News correspondent Talon Foreman gives us a look into this amenity recently available to students.
Many people travel downtown using their bikes and cars, but now the City Council has provided a new affordable way to enter downtown. The downtown trolley that just recently opened this August has helped students without a ride get to downtown with a $1 price for fare. The rides start at Salisbury University in front of the Purdue School of Business and continually loop to University Orchard, University Park, Evolution Brewery, the beginning of West Main Street, the end of the plaza, and Brew River. we spoke with City Council President Jake Day about all of the recreational activities the Trolley can introduce students to.
So you can go and, hit multiple restaurants. You can hit Evolution and Echelon and Mojo's and Market Street and Roadie Joe's, and I don't want to leave anybody out, My Bella's and Brew River, and all those great establishments in downtown Salisbury.
Council members hope that bringing new students into downtown will help firms grow, and maybe new ones will come in the future.
So we're creating an environment that attracts talent and keeps talent here. And when talented young people want to stay here, when talented young people choose to stay here, then the firms will come here. Then the environment begins to work for us rather than against us. Our location begins to work for us rather than against us.
Service runs from Thursday to Saturday nights starting at 7 p.m. So if you're not busy on any of those nights, take a ride back in time with the Downtown Trolley. This is Talon Foreman reporting.
Thanks for that, Talon. Again, the trolley runs on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night from 7 p.m. to 2 a.m., and it meets on campus in front of the Purdue School of Business. And speaking of things to do this weekend, Saturday's football game is fast approaching, so let's turn it over to SUTV sports correspondent Amanda Newman for an update on this week's sports. Amanda?
The number 19 men's soccer team lost their first game of the season Saturday at Penn State Harrisburg 1-0. Although the Seagulls lost, this was only the 6th goal they let up in 13 games. Goalie Drew Stadelli recorded his first loss. With our 9-1-3 record, we are hoping for another win over 3-10 Marymount University Seahawks today. The women's soccer lost 2-0 to St. Mary's College after being on a 5-game winning streak. The Seagulls held the Seahawks scoreless in the first half, but the Seahawks were able to come out in the second half and score 2 goals back-to-back. Goalie Michelle Conrad played the whole game and had 4 saves in the game. Salisbury will be traveling to Marymount University. The game is set to begin at 4 p.m. today. The number 1 field hockey team improved their record to 11-1 and 2-0 in the CAC Conference after beating Christopher Newport 4-1. Cassie Persich, Abby Shobe, Mallory Elliott, and Natalie Wilkinson all had goals in the game. Senior goalie Rachel Kluwer had 2 saves in the game, and their next game is set to begin at 1 p.m. at York College on Saturday. Volleyball went 1-for-1 in their tri-match after losing 3-1 to Mary Washington. Michelle Meehan had 24 digs, and freshman Rachel Pearson had 36 assists. They took their second game against Bridgewater 3-0. Sophomore Katie Stouffer and senior Julie Piston led the game with 11 and 10 kills. The Seagulls will be traveling to Marymount University Wednesday for another CAC matchup. The first serve is set to begin at 7 p.m. Football improved their record to 3-2 after beating Empire 8 opponent Utica College 36-19. Quarterback John Dunbar ran for 75 yards and had 111 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. Sophomore Aaron Moore had a 20-yard touchdown. Junior slot Jerome Johnson had 169 yards and a touchdown in the game, helping to contribute to the 513 total yards in the game. The defense was led by captain Drew Alabach, who had 10 tackles in the game as well as an interception, and sophomore lineman Tyler Paratis had 10 tackles as well as a fumble recovery to help seal the deal for a Gulls victory. The Seagulls will be playing against Hartwick College for their homecoming game this Saturday at 1 p.m. And congratulations to senior punter Kyle Hamby for being named Empire 8 Special Teams Player of the Week. He had 5 punts in the game for 189 yards. Go Gulls! And now back to Taylor.
Thanks, Amanda. For those interested, on Thursday, October 16th at 6:30 p.m. at the Wacomico Youth and Civic Center, there will be a candidate forum on the environment. All the candidates running for the Wacomico County Council and Executive have been invited to participate in the discussion about environmental health here on the Eastern Shore. And as the university continues to change every day, let's take a step back to learn a little bit more about the history embedded into these walls. 80 years ago, a major turning point was happening for what was called Salisbury Normal School at the time. Dr. William J. Holloway retired as president of the school due to health conditions and continued to propel this school up until his last day in office. Holloway had just begun this first student loan fund, created to encourage seniors to further their education. Also, Holloway had begun the school's process into a Maryland State College, later to be named Salisbury State Teachers College. The requirements of this change included the shift from a 3-year to 4-year education, which we still continue to this day. In national news, sports would see a new record set for the most points scored in a hockey player's career. Wayne Gretzky would set his record of 1,850 career points as a Los Angeles King. He previously led his team to 4 Stanley Cups as an Edmonton Oiler and retired in 1999 with a record 2,857 career point total. Back to the Revolutionary War time in 1780, the Americans received one of their earlier victories against the British. Almost 1,000 British forces attempted an attack on Middle Fort in Middleburg, New York. Unaware to Britain, only 200 Continental soldiers protected the fort, and they were extremely low on ammunition. The Loyalists retreated, but in their rage burnt everything in their path and thus further stimulated the American Revolution. And if you're wondering what to expect with Salisbury's ever-changing weather patterns, here's Carly Nichols with your weekly forecast. Carly?
Unfortunately, radar is not being too optimistic tonight. You can see a couple of these rain showers moving from south to north are about to enter Delmarva again. We're not going to see some clearing until even possibly tomorrow, but to take a look at where that cold front is lying, you can see on our surface map. Right now, it's sitting right over the Baltimore-Washington area. That is going to start to make its way over the Delmarva area overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning. We're expecting that to be off the coast around 2 a.m., which is looking pretty nice for our Thursday. We are going to see a couple lingering showers that I'll get to in a minute. Our evening tonight's looking like showers and storms, breezy conditions as that cold front starts to approach. Tonight we're going to say a temperature of about 72. As we go into the overnight hours, we're going to see showers, partly cloudy overnight tonight, a low of 64. Tomorrow, as that storm makes its way off the coast, on and off, we can't be too optimistic, unfortunately, but partly cloudy, a high tomorrow of only 74, 6 degrees cooler than it was today. You can see our high today, 80 degrees, a low of only 74. Very unusual for this time in October. Very warm. We had all those clouds really keeping in all of the thermal convection and everything like that, which was a great day if we didn't have all the storms associated with it. So the average for this time of year is 69. The low is 46. So we stayed well above that. A record set in 1975 was 85 degrees, and the low was 29, set not too long ago. So as you can see, that cold front's going to start to make its way off the coast tomorrow afternoon. This is at 2 p.m. tomorrow. And then as we go into our Thursday evening, we're going to see that start to make its way even farther off the coast into the mid-Atlantic, which is going to make way for a very nice weekend. As you can see tomorrow, once we get these showers out of the way, we're going to see some pretty nice conditions. Friday, sunny, 73 degrees. Saturday and Sunday, we're going to see the temperature start to die down just a little bit. Mostly sunny skies, though, and then the start to next week's looking pretty nice with a high of 66, starting to get that fall weather coming in, partly sunny again.
Thanks, Carly. Well, the homecoming game is sure to be one of the highlights of this week, and SUTV will be sure to bring you complete coverage of this week's events. But let's take a look back on what happened on Monday and Tuesday. On Monday, people gathered in Holloway Hall Auditorium to watch the homecoming king and queen contestants display their school spirit and show off their personality through their fashion statements and talents. Tuesday, Mag's Gym continued the Gull Pride with a pep rally, which brought out a variety of entertainment and activities for people to enjoy, such as the Untouchables, cheerleaders, and games that involved all types of challenges like knocking potatoes across the court. As for the rest of the week, Battle of the Bands and the wing eating contest began this evening at 4:30 p.m. in the Wacomico Room, and it's definitely making me hungry already.
Me too, Taylor. Tomorrow night is the 90s night in Fireside starting at 7 p.m. Friday, make sure to come out to the Big Six Cookout on Seagull Square Lawn at 4 p.m. with the musical improv show in Holloway at 7:30. Saturday is by far the most exciting part of the week, and I'm glad it looks like great weather for the game.
Yes, and can you tell us about that kind of weather that we're going to be having?
We're going to see nice sunny skies for most of the day. In the morning around 12 or leading up until 12, we're going to see some clouds lingering from Friday. But as the day goes on, it's going to burn out with the sunshine. We're going to see temperatures in the mid to lower 70s, a great fall day for the football game.
It's a perfect temperature for the game.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for joining us tonight on SUTV Evening News. We'll see you back here next week. Have a great night.